If you're a homeowner that's thinking about selling your house sometime soon, I want to take just a few minutes and share with you a simple strategy that can not only help you make the contract process smoother, but can net you potentially thousands of more dollars at the closing table. All right, I already know you want to know, so here is that strategy. I strongly recommend that you consider getting your house inspected before you put it on the market. Now here is how that strategy works. In a normal transaction, sellers, like you, are going to be asked to fill out a seller's disclosure. And simply, it's a promulgated form that's going to ask you, the seller, to the best of your knowledge, the condition of every element in your home. It's going to be your air conditioning system, your hot water heater, down to light fixtures and smoke detectors. It's also going to ask you if you're aware of any previous issues that have been addressed in the home. Maybe there was previous mold damage or hail damage to the roof. What about a termite infestation? You're going to have to disclose all that on the seller's disclosure, even if it happened to a previous homeowner, as long as you had knowledge of it. But that's where most sellers stop. They fill out their seller's disclosure, we come to an agreement on price, and we list the house. But what happens with the buyer? So now the buyer is going to come and tour your house. They're going to like your floor plan and everything that you've done with it, and they're going to make you an offer. So we end up in a negotiation and we come up with what we think is a fair market value, and the buyers and sellers agree and sign a contract. Well, before and up until that contract, you, the seller, had control. But now the buyer has control, because the buyer more than likely is going to negotiate for an option period. This is about a 5 to 10 day window, which they're going to use for due diligence. And what are they going to do? They're going to have a home inspector come in and inspect the home. What is the home inspector going to find? Well, they're going to spend about 3 hours and they're going to go through every part of your house and test all your systems, and they're going to give the buyer this laundry list report, even if your house is in immaculate condition, of potential to-dos. There could be things as simple as fixtures in your kitchen and your bathroom that could simply be out of code, or there could be big issues that maybe you, the seller, weren't as aware of. Maybe you have some rotting wood on part of your fascia board on your roof. Maybe you have a leak somewhere. Maybe you're missing insulation, or your hot water heater and air conditioning system are simply old and they're going to need to be replaced soon. All of those things are expensive. So what happens? That buyer is now going, wow, we thought we were going to buy the house here, but you know what? Based on all the things in this report, seller, we need to renegotiate. So they're going to come to you and ask for one of two things, most likely concessions, which is money. Either lower your list price or offer us some money back at closing, or they're going to negotiate or ask you for repairs, and now you, the seller, have a ticking clock where you're going to have to get those things repaired during contract. Now you can say no, but again, the buyer is the one who has the opportunity to walk away, not you, the seller. Here is why getting your home pre-inspected is a better idea. Number one, when you get it inspected before you go on the market, you, the seller, are the one who has that information first. And you can look it over and you might decide, you know what, there are a few things we need to take care of before we go on the market, and it'll eliminate that objection from your future buyer. Number two, you're now going to fill out your seller's disclosure after the home inspection, and now you have much better knowledge of every element of your house and its condition, and your seller's disclosure is going to match up more nicely with that home inspection. Number three, you're going to give all this information out to the market when you list your house. And we're going to price your house accordingly based on all of this knowledge. So now what happens? So now you get a buyer that comes through your house and they not only like the condition of the house, but your listing agent is going to talk with their agent and go, don't forget, you need to look at the seller's disclosure. We've already had the home inspection. Please look at that home inspection report and make us an offer accordingly. We believe we've priced the house fairly based on all of that data. You've disclosed it before you ever have a negotiation with the buyer. So now you come to an agreement with that buyer on the front end based on all of that information. The buyer's still likely going to want an option period, but here's what can happen now. You have a much better chance of that buyer who's already been made aware of all this information in your home inspection report to say, hey, look, you know what? There's no need for us to hire a new home inspector and have to do this all over again when you've already disclosed all of this information to us. The only thing we may have to negotiate with you, the seller, is if we find anything new that wasn't disclosed in those other reports, and you've now reduced the chance of that happening by a great percent. So now two things happen for you. You're now going to have a much smoother contract to close process with a lot fewer negotiations, and you're now going to net potentially thousands of more dollars at closing because you didn't have to give away anything due to surprises that are normally uncovered in an option period. Now, this is just one of many strategies that I offer to sellers so that they can earn more for their money on the market and have a much smoother contract to close process when they're negotiating with buyers. If you are planning to list your house sometime soon, I'd love the opportunity to visit with you and help you get top dollar in Austin's competitive housing market.